A month before the NBA season, I asked for hot takes and got almost 140 of them. We can't look at all of them, so let's look at some takes that were repeated and some specific takes I'd like to highlight. Then I'll show the take that aged the best and the worst. The 76ers were getting a lot of praise. They had one of the best off seasons last summer, bringing back Harden on a cheaper deal and getting role players like PJ Tucker and DeAnthony Melton. A full training camp with the rest of James Harden and the leading favorite for MVP gave the 76ers a chance to make the conference finals for the first time since 2001. My worry for Philly at the time was what they would look like against Boston and Milwaukee, two teams I thought they were worse than and would likely have to match up with in the playoffs. When the Celtics did match up with the Sixers, Jason Tatum's 51 points ended their season in the second round. While James Harden looked healthier, it seems like his prime years are past him. He's really lost his burst that gave him so many opportunities to score. Before the playoffs started, I made a video claiming that Joel Embiid was one of the players with the most to prove these playoffs, and he completely disappointed me. Even when he wasn't injured, there was a massive drop-off when compared to his regular season. This is the third year in a row that Embiid has been injured in the playoffs. The Sixers should be a team in the running for best in the league, but when looking at what happens in their postseasons, you can't give them that label. The Embiid-led Sixers have been underperforming for years, and I wonder how long it will last before serious changes are made. One specific take I like to look at is saying that the Bulls would make the conference finals. Even when the Bulls were the first seed, I didn't think it would last. In my mind, they were just a playoff caliber team that was hot, while better teams had rough starts to the season. And while the team was very hot, I didn't believe that they would be like that all season. One thing to keep in mind is when Lonzo Ball got injured. And while I do think Lonzo adds a lot to the team, I don't think just adding him back into the lineup turns Chicago from a play-in team to a contender. A lot of people were high on Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves this year. While some said that the team would finish as a top 5 seed, others claimed the Timberwolves would be one of the best teams in the West. At the time, I thought they would finish around the range of a 5th seed. The team in actuality finished the year as the 8th seed and lost in the first round to the Denver Nuggets. The biggest thing that went wrong for them this year was the Gobert trade. The T-Wolves gave too much for a player that's contract is too big, who's reaching his 30s, and who plays a position that you already have secured. When it comes to Ant, there were takes he'd be on All-NBA first team or even the MVP. While I didn't think he'd have that strong of a season, I considered him one of my honorable mentions for most improved player when predicting awards last summer. For me, how he played in the playoffs last year led me to believe he'd have a great season. While he did have a really good season, making his first All-Star game, I thought he would have had a little bit better of a year. Despite him not taking as big as a leap as I predicted, I think it's time for Minnesota to make Anthony Edwards their face of the franchise and move Cat. I do think that Towns could be the second or third best player on a championship team, but the Supermax he signed really restricts the ceiling of whatever team he's on. You'll likely have to sign Ant to a deal similar or bigger to what Cat signed, and having 3 players getting paid like number ones hurts your ceiling even more. Regardless, I'm interested to see how the Gobert trade plays out and Ant's progression next season. Coming right off of a championship run, it makes sense that the Golden State Warriors had high expectations heading into the season. The Warriors looked great during the 2022 season, especially at the beginning of the regular season and during the playoffs. With Klay having a full season to get back into the swing of things and the development of young talent, takes that the Warriors would make the finals once again were common. There were even a few that said Curry would get his 3rd MVP. While they began the season as a championship favorite this year, they lost in the second round as the 6th seed. The strange thing about the Warriors is how bad they were on the road. They had the 4th worst away record in the league, and that is not a recipe for success in the playoffs. The Warriors didn't look like themselves this year, and things like the Draymond situation, age, and a worse bench hurt the team. Warriors GM Bob Myers has left the team, and the recent Jordan Poole trade doesn't give me much faith in new management. One person did say that the team would be worse, but I don't know if saying a team won't go back-to-back is that hot of a take. But with Draymond declining his player option, this may be the end of the trio that led the Dubs to a dynasty. Another take I want to look at stated that the Cavs would make the finals. While I didn't think they would make that much noise, I expected better than a first-round exit. After trading for Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs wanted to go from a solid team to a great one, finishing 4th in the West. They matched up with the Knicks and lost in 5. When the playoffs first started, I thought Cleveland was a sleeper team to make it to the conference finals. I could focus on the rebounding numbers, benches, and Donovan Mitchell's scoring output, but the Knicks just outplayed the Cavs. Cleveland has potential, but finding the players that are good on defense to help Garland and Donovan, while also being good spacers for Allen and Mobley, will be challenging. After losing in the second round last year, Bucks takes may have been the most popular to have. Plenty claimed Giannis would win MVP or would be back in the finals. While they had a great regular season with the best record in the NBA, Milwaukee had a historically bad series, as they lost in the first round to the 8th seed. Plenty of blame can go around. Giannis' injury, the coaching, and the whole team's offensive output didn't help at all when Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat exceeded expectations. Outside of Giannis, the future of Milwaukee looks bleak. They don't own their first-round pick until 2028. They're the oldest team in the league, plus one of the highest payrolls in the league. I think it's likely that Chris will sign back on a smaller contract, but just running it back can't be an option for the Bucks. Now it's time to look at the takes that have aged the best and the worst. I think this take by Cade Clears aged the best. Shea is now a top 5 point guard, If the Nuggets were to become a dynasty, then this year would be the start, and while the Magic weren't amazing, they were surprisingly good. The take that aged the worst was this one. The Miami Heat weren't a first-round exit team heading into the season, became one, and then made the finals. Meanwhile, Cleveland lost in the first round. It gets worse when mentioning how Miami eliminated the team that beat the Cavs on the way to the finals. Everyone has takes that age poorly, so I think it's fair to show one of mine. When talking about the winners and losers of the Donovan Mitchell trade, I said Lauri Markkanen would be a loser since he got traded to one of the worst teams in the league. Little did I know, he'd have his best season yet, be an all-star, win most improved player, and arguably be the biggest winner of the trade. I'll put all the takes I got on the screen now, so pause to read them if you're interested. I just want to say thank you for watching and doing the typical YouTube stuff like commenting, liking, or subscribing. Doing that lets me know if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like it. Earlier, I mentioned how Anthony Edwards was an honorable mention for most improved player. I try to predict all the awards this year, and in this video, you can see how many I got right.